Economic predictions for 2023, will there be a recession? As the world continues to grapple with the economic and social impacts of the global pandemic, one of the biggest questions on everyone's minds is whether or not the economy will suffer another recession in 2023. The signs of a potential recession are all around us, from rising unemployment to increasing debt levels, and it's important to analyze these signs in order to make informed decisions about our financial future. In this article, we'll take a deep dive into the potential signs of a recession in 2023 and explore what steps can be taken to prepare for it. From understanding the historical context to recognizing the potential risks, this article will provide a comprehensive overview of the potential signs of an impending recession. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of the potential risks and the best strategies to prepare for them. Historical context of recessions. A recession is often described as a period of negative economic growth that lasts for 2 consecutive quarters, i.e. 6 months. In the U.S., the most recent recession occurred between December 2007 and June 2009. During this period, GDP, gross domestic product, declined 2.8%. The last recession was particularly significant as it was the longest recession since the Great Depression, 1929 to 1939. While the Great Depression serves as a reminder of the devastating impacts of a recession, it's important to note that the economic landscape has changed significantly since then. Most notably, the financial system has been significantly reorganized to minimize the risk of a financial collapse. Specifically, regulatory authorities now have the power to shut down financial institutions in the event of a crisis. Additionally, banking systems are now heavily reliant on digital platforms, which enables them to transmit funds quickly and securely. These measures have significantly reduced the risk of a financial crisis and recession. Economic indicators of a potential recession. In order to identify the potential signs of a recession, it's important to examine key economic indicators. The most significant economic indicators include the unemployment rate, the interest rate, the inflation rate, and the amount of public and private debt. Historically, the unemployment rate has been the most reliable indicator of a potential recession. In fact, there's a 97% correlation between an increase in the unemployment rate and a recession. However, since the global pandemic has drastically reduced the labor force, the unemployment rate has declined significantly. As a result, economists have had to look to other indicators to determine the health of the economy. A prime example is the interest rate. In the past, a sharp increase in the interest rate was a key indicator of an impending recession. However, given the current low interest rates, economists have predicted that the economy is likely to avoid a recession. Impact of the global pandemic on the economy. The global pandemic has dramatically reduced the labor force and contributed to a significant decline in economic growth. In the immediate aftermath of the pandemic, economic growth slowed to almost a standstill. However, as the world's economy has slowly recovered from the pandemic, growth rates have steadily increased. Growth rates remain below pre-pandemic levels, but they indicate that the global economy is slowly healing. As the economy recovers, it becomes increasingly important to monitor the impact of the pandemic on economic growth. If the pandemic continues to grow, it could slow or halt economic growth, which would increase the risk of a recession. It's worth noting that economic growth is expected to level off in the next few years, which could reduce the impact of the pandemic. Potential risks and challenges in 2023. There are several potential risks and challenges that could lead to a recession in 2023. First, the U.S. trade war with China could deepen and lead to a full-blown economic crisis. Second, the financial situation of Social Security, SS, and Medicare could deteriorate and lead to higher taxes. Third, interest rates could rise, which would increase the cost of government borrowing and impact long-term economic growth. Fourth, the European Union and Japan could see a significant economic slowdown due to trade tensions with the U.S. Fifth, oil prices could fall and negatively impact the economies of major oil-producing countries. 6. Political instability could disrupt global economic activity and negatively impact growth rates. 7. The global pandemic could evolve and become more virulent, which could reduce labor force participation and slow economic growth. Strategies to prepare for a recession. Given the potential signs of a recession, it's important to prepare for it and reduce the risks of economic decline. To do so, you should first understand your financial situation and identify the areas that need improvement. Then, set goals and make a plan to improve your finances. Finally, monitor your progress and make adjustments as necessary. It's also important to note that a recession is not a reason to panic, it's a natural part of the economic cycle. By preparing for it and taking the necessary steps to minimize the risks, you can weather the storm and come out stronger on the other side. With this in mind, we've provided a few key strategies to prepare for a recession. Save more. It's important to have enough savings to cover at least 6 months of expenses. This will help you avoid taking on debt, which can become extremely burdensome during a recession. Create a diversified portfolio. An investment portfolio that is well diversified across different asset classes will help you weather the economic cycle and mitigate the risk of losing an excessive amount of money. Get health insurance. Health insurance can be incredibly expensive during a recession. It's important to have health insurance to protect you and your family in the event of an unforeseen health crisis. Stay informed. Stay up to date on economic and political events that could impact the economy. This will allow you to identify potential risks and take appropriate action. Conclusion and takeaways. When you look at the signs around us, it's easy to get nervous about the state of the global economy. And while there are certainly reasons to be concerned, it's important to note that recessions are a natural part of the economic cycle. It's also important to remember that we're in a very different economic landscape than we were even a decade ago. Most importantly, it's important to not let these concerns cloud your judgment and keep you from taking action. Instead, you should use these concerns as a call to action to prepare for the worst and put yourself in the best position possible to weather any potential economic storm. While it's impossible to know exactly when the next recession will occur, it's important to stay informed and prepared so that you're ready to act when it happens. For more videos on personal finance management, please click the subscribe button, like the video and ring the notification bell.